This time I have a Sony CCD TR108 High 8 Handycam. This one was brought in to have the tape removed. I don't know whether the guy wants it repaired or not. I'm going to take a look at it. But if he doesn't want it, it could end up being mine. But we're going to look at it and see why the tape won't release and see if we can get this one to work and if there's anything serious wrong with it. This one was made in the dwindling era of High 8. They've even discontinued the stereo sound on this one. Today I have a camcorder that has got a tape stuck in it. And we'll need to figure out what's wrong with this one. It's a High 8 camera. So we're going to take a look and see if we can get this one to operate. The person that owns this camera really is only concerned with getting the tape out of it. So I don't know if it'll be repairable or not, but we'll give it a shot and see whether it can be serviced. Oh, it's got a battery on it too. I suppose the battery is probably dead. We'll just remove the battery and power it up and see what it does, if anything. Do I get any messages on the screen? Alright, power it up. And I see nothing. And that's because my bench power is not turned on, so we'll just remedy that. Not the first time I've done that. Alright, power. And the tape kind of looks like it might be a bit mangled in there. If we look at it, it almost looks like the tape here is a little bit loose. I'll pull the side cover off of it just to get a look at that. Pop off the tape door. I just want to inspect what I can on this before I hit any buttons to avoid any more damage than's already happened to this tape. My bench is all gouged up from working on that big reel-to-reel. Okay. If we observe the tape, it looks like the tape here might be damaged, but what happens if I try to eject it? It just immediately starts beeping and flashing C3130. So it's not going nowhere. We're going to have to disassemble the camera and see why the tape is jammed. Oh, somebody's already been into the camera. The screw's missing from the side of it. So right there, I start to think this might be a lost cause just to begin with. Again, the guy that owns this thing was more concerned with getting the tape out of it than fixing the camera, as he says he's got another camera. He just wants the tape out so that he can digitize his tapes. Yes, sometimes you have to karate chop them to get them apart. See, this one here, the side cover is held on by a screw that goes underneath here. Maybe not. Oh, this one comes apart. Okay, good. Alright, okay, the tape is nicely chewed. I can see it tangled up here. And what's happened on this is the tape itself is actually wound around the capstan. So the tape got stuck. And as you can see, there's a bunch of tape wrapped around the capstan, and that's why the machine's not going to run, because the capstan motor is stuck. So what we need to do is we need to actually remove the tape from the capstan, and unfortunately the tape is going to get broken because, well, there's not really any other way to do this. The capstan won't spin with a whole bunch of tape wound around it, And the only way to get the capstan to actually spin will be to cut the tape and splice the tape. That's the only option on this particular problem because of how the tape is damaged. I may have to force it open with a power supply. So we'll do that. At least I can release the mechanism, and then I can take out the tape. So I'll put around 4 volts on my power supply. And we'll force the mechanism open. I believe it's just, was it this way? Okay. So now the tape can come out, but as you can see, the tape is nicely wound around the capstan shaft. If I try pulling it, it's going to break, which it just did. Oh, it got stuck around there good, didn't it? Something sticky on here. Oh, wow. Well, look at this. Wow. Is that mold, or is it just something sticky on the tape? Something sticky on the tape, and the tape just kind of got stuck there. Okay, it's now free, and the capstan motor can turn now. I wonder if the camera's okay. But yeah, there was something sticky on the tape, caused it to get stuck. Something spilled on the tape, I'm thinking. Maybe juice or something, or pop, or did someone splice the tape and not do it right? That's always a possibility. Let's inspect this. This is what happens. What can happen if you splice a tape and you don't trim off any of the excess adhesive, is that when it goes past parts like the capstan and pitch roller, especially on rewind, because it would hit them first, it can stick and just wind around the capstan shaft, and that might be what happened here. I'm just going to get a close look at that section of tape here and see whether it was someone spliced that. And oh, it says "Perfect Murder" on here. I don't know if I want to look at this tape or not. I think I'll just give it back to him. I don't even think I'll try it and see whether it plays. With the title of "Perfect Murder" on the tape. Alright, let's take a look at this and see whether we can figure out what's wrong with this tape. Was it spliced? Got my eyeballs on here so I can get a closer look. It looks like it looks like it was spliced, actually. You know what? That tape was spliced. Can I get under that loop there? There's a loop of tape here. You guys see what I'm doing? There's a loop of tape here. Yeah, see that? See if we can get a close-up of that. That tape was, most certainly has been spliced. You can see uneven, right? Someone stuck it together. I don't know what they stuck it with. It doesn't look like tape. But somebody certainly stuck that together with something. And it's thicker. It's almost like they heated it up and melted the tape pieces together. Wow. But you can see it right there. Or did they just, or maybe they used double-sided tape. God only knows how somebody spliced this thing, but that tape is, this tape has definitely been spliced. You can see it right there on that edge, right there. You can see it overhanging. Let's try to pull it apart. Anyway, that's definitely not how to splice a tape, that's for sure. If you look at the tape here, I mean, even the stuff that's part of the tape that's on the supply side is creased. You can see a crease right on the middle of the tape here. If I pull some tape out of here, you can see that there's a crease that extends quite a ways down the tape. You can see it there on the edge of the ripple. I will splice it back together. I don't know if it's going to play or not, but we'll cut out the damaged section of the tape and just put it back together, and I give it back to the fellow that owns it because he asked me to remove the tape. And I'll cut the section of tape that's damaged. And splice it correctly. Of course, the correct way to splice it is on the back side of the tape, like you would splice any type of tape. I know someone who knows way more about tape than me, or at least they think they do, is going to tell me I'm using the wrong type of tape. Yes, I'm fully aware of that, okay? I'm fully aware that this is not splicing tape. I don't have any, and I'm not about to go and buy a roll of it just to splice the odd tape, because when I splice a tape, it's for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is getting one copy off of the tape. It doesn't need to last more than one play, because as I tell people, don't use tape. Get rid of everything you've got on tape, get it transferred to digital, and throw the tapes away. Because anybody that's still playing with tape shouldn't be playing with tape. It's an obsolete medium. See, that's how you splice a tape. You lay the two pieces together so that they're completely level with each other. And then we're going to trim off any excess tape, and you can use whatever you want for that. I use a pair of scissors, but you can use anything you want. We're going to cut in ever so slightly into the tape itself, just so that there's no adhesive exposed, just like that. Now you see that side is completely trimmed free of any adhesive, and then we turn it around and we do the same on the other side. I've never had a splice fail on me yet, and I've never had one damage a machine. And I've been doing this for over 40 years. Used to have to splice rental tapes all the time. The shop that I worked at for a number of years, we rented movies, and they were always getting damaged by people. They'd get eaten by machines, tape would get damaged. Movies were $100 or more per tape to buy them, so if a tape got damaged, it was always getting spliced. And you know what? Even over those 40 odd years ago when I was doing it, I was just using Scotch brand magic tape was what we were using to splice them together. And they never failed. They never failed. In all the years we were doing it, never failed. And these tapes were getting run through these tapes were getting run through VCRs left, right, and center. And we never had an issue with them. I'm going to test this machine out now. We'll see whether it actually works. There's a good chance that it's going to work. I'll even put his tape back in it. This will end up being my camera because he didn't want the camera back. I got a blue screen, no picture. Oh, it's because the tape is damaged. That's because the tape's creased. That crease along the bottom edge of the tape is going to cause problems, I'm sure. As you can see, this tape is really badly chewed up just as I wind it back. This is rewinding it. This tape, he's not going to be able to get anything off this tape. It's got so much damage on it. That's going to contaminate heads as soon as it's played. See all the crease marks? So this tape here he's got is, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get anything off this tape, or if anything, he's not going to get much. You can see all the damage on there. That's just rewinding it back. So I wouldn't expect to be able to get anything off of this tape. Almost at the beginning there. Now I've wound it all the way back. I hope his HDV tapes are in better shape. It's a client that brought me a bunch of HDV tapes to digitize because his HDV camera packed it in. Looks like that's been opened too. It's been sliced across there. So someone's been into this cassette. I'll try this with one of my tapes and see what happens. I don't think this one, we're not going to be able to get much off this, if anything, because of all those creases. If there's any picture at all, the heads are probably contaminated now. Yeah, the heads are clogged up completely. Alright, let me grab one of my own test tapes and we'll see if this camera will actually play. I'll prep this for a fingernail cleaning. I don't know if I'm going to have to do the connectors on this one or not. But we'll pull the bottom cover off here if I can without taking it apart too much. Should be able to pull off the shield so that I can get access to the actual head itself so that I can clean it with my fingernail if necessary. Alright, okay, let's pop the power back up. I get my tape on here. Good old B mechanism this one is. Play. Is there a picture or no picture? I don't see a picture, so I'll just try giving the heads the good old fingernail treatment here on the bottom of the head where I can access it. So just ta-da! I got a picture and it's working. Excellent! Okay, let's do a test recording. Eject. I'm so confident that this is going to work. I'm going to put it together. Wonder if I should just bother doing. Maybe I'll do the. Maybe I'll pull the connectors here and just do them for the hell of it. For, as they say, shits and giggles, as the saying goes. Since I'm already in here, I'll just unplug the board here and unplug the viewfinder, and we'll just reseat the connectors on the bottom here, just because they are so problematic on these units here. So we'll just wiggle them out and plug them back in. And basically all I'm doing is I'm just pulling these connectors out and pushing them back in, so if there's any oxidation, it will break the oxidation, and the actual pin itself will scratch through and make a better connection. Since I've already got it this far apart, right, might as well just do it. Put the bottom cover back on, the bottom shield. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. make sure everything works before I put the final cover on. And there we go. Why do I not have sound? Something might not be plugged in properly because there should be sound on there. Volume. There we go. Now I got my sound back. Okay, just the plug wasn't seated properly. I guess I should talk. I don't want Stevie Wonder's music playing in the background on the radio to trigger a copyright match. Even though I know it's pretty low and I've never got one yet. You never know, right? I mean, after all, it is just a radio. It's not like I'm playing music. It's just that there's a radio running in the background. It's always running because I've always got... There's always music in my house. Always, the radio runs like basically 24 hours a day. I never shut it off. That's how I discover a lot of new music, because they play a lot of new music on this station. They play a lot of stuff I've never heard before. So I'll throw some screws in here, and then I'm going to put a tape on that I can record on, and we'll take it outside and do a recording. I don't know if the battery's got any charge in. I may have to leave it on charge for a few minutes and see if that battery will hold a charge, but I'll certainly give this thing a try and see whether it works.
Alright, we'll do a test.
So I just recorded.
20 times optical zoom.
Now this tape's got a fair bit of damage, so those creases you see are just damaged tape. And it's not a high 8 tape, this is just a regular 8 tape that I just tried, just did some recording. Yeah, nice damaged tape, nice creases. Probably clogged the heads on me and I'll have to take it apart and clean it again. Or just use a cleaning tape. But as you can see, this tape is one that's been chewed up more than once. I should probably toss it out. Even though I do have tons and tons of high 8 tapes, I just couldn't be bothered to go and find one. I just figured I'd grab whatever I had kicking around here in the shop, and as you can see, it is working. It's cloudy today. It rained like yesterday like crazy. We had thunderstorms, and you hear the thunder booming all day.
Usually there's an eagle sitting up there.
Tree is deformed from the weight of the eagle. It should be noted that this high 8 camera only records and plays monaural sound. If you put a stereo tape in from a previous generation, it only plays in mono. This camera I'll end up selling. I got the power supply, I got a couple batteries with it, because I don't think the guy wants this back, so I'll end up selling this one. Just have to find a few more screws for it because half the screws were missing, but I'm sure that shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, this one's fixed. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.